It started with a sunny afternoon at the park, just another day for 16-year-old Maya and her friends. Laughter filled the air as they took photos by the fountain, but everything changed in an instant. A group of officers approached them, their demeanor cold and intimidating. What began as a simple interaction spiraled out of control, fueled by prejudice and a shocking misuse of authority. Before Maya knew it, she was humiliated in front of everyone and forcefully shoved into the icy water. The pain wasn't just physical, it was the humiliation, the injustice, and the overwhelming sense of helplessness. But Maya's family wasn't about to stand by silently. What they did next would shock everyone and spark a chain of events no one could have predicted. Stay tuned, because this story is more than just about one moment. It's about resilience, justice, and the power of unity in the face of hate. Maya's parents, Danielle and Marcus, were pillars of their community, known for their kindness and strong sense of justice. When Maya came home soaked, shivering, and fighting back tears, they immediately knew something was wrong. She hesitated at first, unsure if her story would even be believed, but with gentle encouragement, the details spilled out. Her trembling voice painted a vivid picture of the humiliation she had endured, and the weight of her words hit them like a tidal wave. Danielle's heart broke as she hugged her daughter tightly, but Marcus's anger simmered just below the surface. Questions swirled in their minds. How could this happen to their child? And how many others had suffered in silence? That night, the family sat together in their living room, determined to take action. But it wasn't just about speaking up. It was about doing something no one would expect. And what they planned next would leave everyone stunned. As the news of what happened to Maya spread, the community began to buzz. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers started reaching out, offering their support and sharing similar stories of mistreatment by the same officers. It wasn't just Maya. This was a pattern, a deeply rooted issue that had gone unchecked for too long. Danielle spent hours on the phone, piecing together the puzzle, while Marcus carefully documented everything Maya had told them. They were determined to expose the truth, but they knew they couldn't fight this alone. Meanwhile, the officers involved tried to control the narrative, claiming Maya had been disruptive and resisting during the incident. Their words added fuel to the fire, creating a divide in the community. Some defended the officers, while others rallied behind Maya and her family. The tension grew as the family planned their next move, a step so bold it would turn the situation on its head and force everyone to pay attention. The family knew that if they were going to make a real impact, they had to think bigger than just filing a complaint. Danielle reached out to a local civil rights attorney, who agreed to take on their case after hearing Maya's story. But it didn't stop there. Marcus connected with community leaders, activists, and journalists who were just as outraged. Within days, the story gained traction, sparking debates on social media and catching the attention of news outlets. Behind closed doors, tension was mounting for the officers involved. The department faced growing pressure to explain their actions as more people demanded accountability. Yet, Maya's family had one more move up their sleeve, something that could expose not only what had happened that day, but the systemic failures that allowed it. As the family prepared for a public press conference, the officers scrambled to protect themselves. All eyes were on Maya, her family, and the truth they were about to reveal. As the press conference drew closer, Maya's family was confident they had done everything possible to prepare. They had the evidence, the witnesses, and the community's support. But just when they thought they were ready, an unexpected twist sent shockwaves through their plan. An anonymous whistleblower, someone inside the police department, reached out to Danielle with startling new information. This person had seen the footage from the officers' body cameras, and it told a very different story than the one the officers were pushing. The family hadn't even known body cam footage existed, and now they were faced with a critical choice. If they revealed what they knew before the press conference, the footage could conveniently disappear. But if they stayed silent, they risked being blindsided again. The stakes were higher than ever, and time was running out. The family had to act quickly, but they knew their next move would either make or break their fight for justice. On the day of the press conference, the room was packed with reporters, community members, and supporters. Maya's family stepped up to the podium, their voices steady despite the weight of the moment. Danielle began by recounting the incident in vivid detail, while Marcus presented the evidence they had gathered. Just as the room seemed to settle into a quiet outrage, Danielle dropped the bombshell. They had received a tip about the officer's body cam footage and had subpoenaed it before announcing the press conference. The revelation sent ripples of shock through the crowd. And then, as if on cue, the footage was played. The video showed the officers approaching Maya and her friends, escalating the situation with no provocation, and eventually shoving her into the fountain. The silence in the room was deafening as the truth played out before everyone's eyes. But the final twist came when the whistleblower stepped forward, revealing a history of covered-up misconduct within the department. The fallout was immediate. The officers were placed under investigation, and the department faced demands for sweeping reforms. Maya's bravery, her family's persistence, and the unexpected alliance of a whistleblower had turned a moment of injustice into a movement for change. But as the press conference ended, Danielle reminded everyone that this was just the beginning. The fight for justice was far from over. In the weeks that followed the press conference, the impact of Maya's story rippled far beyond their community. Protests calling for justice grew louder, with people demanding accountability not just for the officers involved, but for a system that had allowed such behavior to persist. The officers were eventually suspended pending investigation, and changes within the department were promised, though Maya's family knew promises alone weren't enough. For Maya, the journey wasn't easy, but her strength inspired so many. She returned to the park one day, standing by the fountain that had once been a symbol of her humiliation. This time she wasn't alone. Surrounded by family, friends, and supporters, she felt a sense of empowerment she'd never known before. Her family's fight reminded everyone that even in the face of injustice, unity and resilience can spark real change. Maya's story became a testament to standing up, speaking out, and never giving up.